time then, welcome to my book corner. This is something a bit different on the channel. This is going to be a reading vlog, which, as you will all know, is not something that I do at all. So, massive thank you first off to Jessica over at This Kiwi, who has invited me to take part in their collaborative series, Read the Beats. This is an amazing idea, I absolutely love this. The concept for this is very simple. We each select 3 songs for the other person. They can be our favourite songs or songs that mean something to us, whatever the reason is. And those songs act as a reading prompt for a book. I have no idea what Jessica's picked for me. We're going to take a look now, but I will link their channel down below if you have not checked her out previously. I absolutely recommend that you do. I will also link the blog video that Jessica's doing for my picks as well in the description and at the thing on the top. It'll be that side. We know how this works, but let's see what I've got. Alright, we're going to watch the video that Jess has sent me with her selections for my songs. No idea what these are, not seen this yet, very excited to watch this. Interested to see if I know any of them. Very, very curious. I will link all the songs down below in the description as well if you want to go and check them out yourself. Let's see if I know how buttons work. So, is it that one? I think it's that one. It is that one. I may pause a couple of times as well going through this. So, off we go.
Hello, Ben. Welcome to Read the Beats. Thank you so much for being part of this in May. I really appreciate it. I've got some amazing songs ready for you. A couple of relatively easy ones and one that's going to prove to be quite a challenge. So I look forward to seeing what you pick. First kind of easy one is Five for Fighting's 100 Years.
I don't know this. Don't know this one. This will be interesting. Okay.
This is such an incredible song, and it's easy in the fact that you can follow the story of the song quite easily. There's not a lot going on. There's the piano, a little bit of rock kind of in the background as far as beat, and then there's the lyrics. And the lyrics follow a very linear story about a man who is essentially growing from a teenager to an elderly person. And it's a song I think that is underrated. It came out in 2003. And it's one that I quite often listen to. When it first came on, I loved it. And then it kind of fell off the charts and I didn't hear like anything from them for such a long time. And it took me a long time to actually find this song on YouTube and get it. And I'm glad I did. It is one of my favorite songs. Not top 5, but it is there. Now the next.
So, just from the description, I need to go and listen to the song in a minute. I'm getting not quite coming of age vibes, but like the whole lifetime gamut of experience and what the total journey through life looks like. Have I got a book that hits that? I must have a book that hits that. We'll have a think about that one, but very excited to listen to that one once we've watched the video. So, what's up next?
Next kind of easier one is a song that is featured in the soundtrack of The Road to El Dorado, which is a DreamWorks, I believe, is the company that made it.
This will be a surprise to nobody who has interacted with me on here at all. That I have not seen The Road to El Dorado. I am aware of it. I think I've seen bits of it. I've never actually watched it. So that's please put in the comments how terrible I am at watching movies. I get told this on a regular basis because I've not seen Lion King yet. So come at me with pitchforks, people.
And it is a song written by arguably one of the most iconic musical creators of all time. The song is called The Trail We Blaze, and that is sung and performed by Elton John. such an iconic man, and this is one of my favorites because it's so essentially, if you need to like get up and move and you want something that's going to give you a bit of power and motivation, and you almost want to feel like you want to go on an adventure, this is the song to listen to. It is just so engaging and it is so fun. um Protagonist songs are usually not my favorite when it comes to Disney movies or DreamWorks or kids. I'm a sucker for the villain song.
Me too. Like, just put it out there. If the villain isn't the most interesting character in a movie or even a book, you're doing something wrong. Just saying.
But this is one that really sticks with me. And like, yeah, I can just see myself going off and doing something and just being successful at anything when I listen to that song. So yeah, another one that is
So El Dorado from memory is the city of gold. It was a city that was looted, I believe, if I remember correctly, by the Spanish. Could be wrong on that. That's just off the top of my head. So this is adventure vibes. This is potentially hero's journey vibes, I'm guessing. I suspect I will know this song when I hear it, even though I've not seen the movie. I have plenty of hero's journey vibes. So, okay. So I wonder what the last one is, because they sound just on the surface like two very different songs.
it's going to give you a little bit of trouble. And I say it could give you some trouble because you don't have a lot to go off with this. It is purely instrumental. The song is called Secrets, and it is a violin cover by Andreas Bryson. Essentially, you've got the violin and what's that like DJ kind of press the button thing box.
Synthesizer? I don't know.
I don't know. It's one of those.
I guess.
And yeah, there's not a lot you can really go off with this song. You really need to kind of let the music sink in, let your imagination kind of tell you where to go with it. Like if you're imaginative, like if you see colors when you listen to music, you could base the book off the color of the music video because it's essentially just one person in the music video. You could do that. But then you may recognize the beat because it was a song originally from One Republic, I believe, that did it. But I'm going to challenge you not to use that and just use this instrumental one. So, yes, that is your challenging one. Good luck. I really do look forward to seeing what you have in store.
All right. So we have then 5 for fighting. Let's declare that. Oh, no, that was a terrible idea because I needed to refer to the actual things. So let's fetch that back up. Let's not show my my YouTube. Right, okay. So we have 5 for fighting 100 years, was it? Oh, it's because I've not got on a smaller screen than normal. That's why. Okay. Okay, that one. That's what I want. Okay. So, 5 for fighting 100 years. The Road to El Dorado. The the Trail We Blaze. And oh, pardon me. And let's make sure I get this right. Night Core Secrets Violin cover by Andre Bryson. I'm going to go away and give these a listen. And then we'll come back. Alright. We've listened to them. Well, I've listened to them. I've read the lyrics as well to make sure I was understanding properly in my own head what the songs were about. Obviously, I've not done that with the third one because there's no lyrics for the version that we're doing here. And I have some thoughts. I don't have specific books yet. That will be a video, well, a separate part of the vlog in a couple of days from now. But we'll start with 100 Years by Five for Fighting. And my initial vibe with this was life experience and the journey from like mid-teenage years when you're first beginning to know who you are and stuff about yourself, all the way through till the twilight of your life. And whilst that's close, it doesn't quite feel right, because the overwhelming sort of theme of the song that sort of really speaks to me personally is to do with time and how we spend our time or waste our time, especially when we're younger. And it's looking back from the twilight years at sort of those missed opportunities where you have all the time in the world and you don't use it wisely because you don't know how much time is worth. And then going through the different points of your life when you realize actually time's all gone, you have a midlife crisis and you start a booktube channel. Wait, that's me. But I've got a couple of different ways I want to potentially go with this. One is, and bizarrely enough, a book that I read recently would have been perfect for this, but never mind. You have the character towards the twilight of their life, the end of their life, kind of looking back and telling the story of their younger self, but with little asides and little comments on things, foreshadowing things that will happen later. Because obviously you have the innocent earlier character and the character that knows what's coming. So very much the if only you knew moment. That's one. The other one, and it's the one I'm leaning towards, is to lean into the twilight of your life aspect and the idea that you hit a certain point and your time is that precious that you need to make it count and you try and make it count. So I think that's the route I'm going to go down. I have a specific book in mind for that, but I don't know if I own it. I need to go through my e-reader and double check. Well, that's my thoughts on 100 Years. The Trail We Blazed the Road to El Dorado by Elton John. On its surface, this is actually really, really straightforward. This is a swashbuckling adventure, potentially something involving the high seas. You're going off, you're discovering a new place, a place filled with myths and legends, magic, so on and so forth, curses, beautiful cities, odd, well, not odd, that's not the way to describe them, different people with what would be to the main character odd customs and odd ways of doing things. And I could go down the normal fantasy route with that and go for the beauty of discovery and the treasure that you get from discovering these new things, and then lean into the more mystical aspects, because I've got plenty of books that kind of cover that sort of the fantasy aspect, and I do have two potentially in mind, one of which is on screen. If you figure out which it is, drop it in, pause the video, drop in the comments. Or I could go a bit left field and take that idea but elevate it to its next level. And again, focusing on the aspect of discovery and wonder, but take it out of its fantasy confines and then move it into an adjacent genre. Specifically, in this case, potentially science fiction, and maybe even pull in some of those mythological elements and sort of the legends and the mysticism that is still present with such things that you would get with like the discovery of a city like El Dorado. That's my thoughts on that one. Now, finally, we have Secrets by Bryson Andre, or Andre Bryson. I don't know which way around it is. Depending on where I look, I get a different answer. This has given me a really interesting vibe, and I need to explain a little bit about why it's given me this vibe. So, it feels quite melancholy, and you've got the title Secrets of the song, and I think I need to play into that a little bit. And I probably have the best idea for this, bizarrely, of all the song choices. Also, this is the one that has gone straight onto my playlist as well, just on a side point. But I get a sense of you've got this gradual build up and swell to the music, the picking up of pace as it moves further in. And that to me screams a thriller or something similar, but a thriller with an element of discovery. which would potentially lean into the secrets aspect, as the title is. So what my feeling is I want a story about someone who has a secret and someone finds out. I want there to be a happy ending, but that's kind of the core of what I'm going with. I might have some books that fit that, I'm not sure. But I'm going to go away for a couple of days and think about this, and then we'll come back. I'll show you the books that I've picked, and then we'll see how I managed to do a vlog. Alright, so a bit of an update. Had a bit of a think, specifically about Secrets, the Nightcore version, and I had a sudden epiphany. So one thing that's different about that compared to the other two songs is that it's a cover, or more specifically a bit of a remix of the original, taking the elements from the original and turning it into something slightly new. And actually, I think that's a really interesting way to go about picking for that book rather than my original ideas. So, and I think I know which one I'm picking for that as well. What we're going to do is we're going to look for a title of a book, or a book I should say, that is a remix of another work that is perhaps better known, or maybe a piece of classic lit. So there we go, that's what we're now going to do for Secrets. We're 8 days into Read the Beats at this point, and I have had a horrific week for reading, like truly horrendous. Yeah, which isn't great. I look like a cop. I look like I've been punched, like, going on. Anyway, I have started my first book, though. I'm about a third of the way through, and this is for 100 Years by Five for Fighting, and it is a 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared. And it's pretty good so far, and absolutely not what I expected. So far, we have this 100-year-old man who climbed out of the window and ran away from his care home because he didn't want all the kerfuffle of the celebration for his 100th birthday. Went to get a bus, stole a man's luggage, which happened to belong to a criminal gang, which had like 50 million crowns in it, or whatever the currency is of the land. Got off the bus at a random stop, met another old man who was a petty criminal, whilst being tracked by the young man who he stole the money off, who was beating up everybody in the path. They got talking. They became pretty close pretty fast. The young man found them. They locked him in a giant fridge. They then turned the fridge on because he kept making noise, which killed him. They then went down the road, putting the young man in a wheelchair. Not wheelchair, wheelbarrow. Spotted by a local farmer who later reported to the police that they saw 3 people and the young man was clearly the leader because he was being pushed. Convinced a man who was running an ice cream stall / van to sell them his car and then become their chauffeur before driving to another town where they met a woman who had a pet elephant, helped her break into the local vet surgery because the elephant had a bad foot because it had something stuck in it, so they could hack into the system and prescribe antibiotics. This has been a wild trip so far. Hoping to get some more reading done over the next couple of days. Hopefully I can finish this book pretty quickly. It's a lot of fun so far. In a bizarre way, it's reminding me a little bit of Tom Sharp. It's got that sort of absurdist satirical bent to it. I'm having a great time with this one. So today I have had training in a place where I'm not normally, and yeah, it only took an hour, not the 4 hours I expected. So my original plan was to meet a friend of mine, Jenny May. That's not going to happen. Instead, I'm going to be going on the guided busway from where I am now into Manchester, and yeah, I've got a few hours to kill to sit, read a book, chill out and enjoy the sunshine, maybe grab a drink. We'll see. It's a good day today.
I was like, I did not need to know any of that. That does not bring anything to the story or the characters. That's the worst one I've had. What have you had?
The level of bonkers has continued with this today. I've now hit the halfway point. So not only have we had the elephant introduced, the elephant has actually sat on and killed someone, and we've had flashbacks to Alan's past, who is the 100-year-old man. As he leaves the US, goes to China on a secret mission to blow up bridges to sort of try and stop the communist revolution that's going on, becomes disenfranchised, saves one of Mao's wives, returns them, then decides to walk home to Sweden from China, which ends up taking them through, I think it's Iran, could be wrong, and him getting arrested for being a potential communist, and then a phone call to the US by the Swedish consulate, because everything's changed since he left, to get him home. Also explosions for an attempted assassination attempt on Winston Churchill. This is the first 200 pages of the book. This is not what I expected. The satire in this is exceptional. Next time I am on screen, I'll talk about the rest of the book, because otherwise this entire vlog is just going to be me talking about my reading time with the 100-year-old man. Alright, so I finished the 100-year-old man that climbed out the window and disappeared about 20 minutes ago, and this was a lot of fun. The humour is going to be hit and miss for a lot of people. It is very much absurdist. Hello. Oh, we are being joined by Sir Bruce as well. It's 27 degrees here in the UK right now, which is just insane to me. So yeah, the thing I think I'm going to take away from this book the most is life happens and just kind of go with the flow. It's very much the sort of inkling I'm taking. Alan Carson's life in general has been a cavalcade of insane events, and doesn't overthink anything, just kind of goes with the flow, and kind of does what he wants to do and enjoys life. And despite all that, reaches the age of 100, and beyond that, and actually at the end of the story has a happy ending, both literally and figuratively, which you'll get if you've read the story. So overall, I give the 100-year-old man who climbed out of a window and disappeared by Jonas Johansson, Jonas Jonasson, sorry, not Johansson, 4.25 stars out of 5. It's been on my list for quite a while. I'm so glad that I finally got around to reading it, and that this actually made me read it. So that's book 1 done, but now we're on to book 2. So the next song that was the prompt was The Trail We Blaze, which is by Elton John, and it's from the animated movie The Road to El Dorado. And this has given me a little bit of trouble to pick one, because my initial vibe of this is one of almost like a swashbuckling adventure, looking into new horizons, discovering new places, looking for treasure and the people you find along the way. And I was actually considering to see if I could go with a reread of this, and I was actually eventually kind of settled on rereading The Colour of Magic, the first Discworld book, which is the one I've probably reread the least. It is one of my least favourite of the Discworld books, but it captures that one more step on a tale of adventure sort of vibe really well. But I kind of wanted to read something new, and as I was looking over my bookcase, I came up with something very, very different. And I know I mentioned initially that I was leaning towards maybe looking into sci-fi for this one, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be reading Palace Lost. That is backwards. We'll need to correct that. This is by Jake Morris, and I got this through my Your Paperquest subscription. Which, if you're in the US, they're US based now, so I will link their website down below for you to check them out. And I was just glancing through this, I couldn't remember what this was about, so I thought I'd give it a quite quick read of the blurb. And this is what the blurb is. When Ensign Vasily Nikonov's ship happened upon a drifting derelict, he had no idea how drastically his life was about to change. Not only had the crew been killed in an impossible manner, the captain of the ship left a reference to the child's tale of the lost colony of Pallas. Elsewhere in the 50s systems, scholar Elliot Charter gamely starts his own fool's quest to prove that Pallas is real, and with nothing but naivety and knowledge, he hires mercenary Captain Skady Ulstertier to help him on his quest. Things quickly spiral out of hand, leaving them all wondering if Palace was truly lost. So you have the idea here, much like El Dorado, this legendary place that exists just in tales and folk tales at this point. And you also have these unlikely people who look like they'll probably have a coming together at some point, and that sense of adventure which I think El Dorado really, truly delivers. So, Palace Lost is my next read. Let's see how we go along with that one. So we've completed Palace Lost by Jake Morrison. So this was my second prompt. This was for The Trail We Blaze by Elton John from The Road to El Dorado. And I'm not sure how well, in hindsight, this actually fits the prompts. The idea of this is you have this mythical place, Palace, which has a place in history, is more of a fairy story at this point, with a number of people, unlikely people, coming together to find it. This is book 1. Book 2 isn't out yet. So I feel like the series or the duologies, I suspect it may be as a whole, would fit the prompt better. But this does have a lot to recommend it, and I read this in a day, which is ridiculous by my standards, especially at the moment. Where you have this kind of misfit crew going out into the unknown in terms of space, dealing with people who are trying to undercut or just end them. You've got mythical secrets you have revealed, so it does have an element of that swashbuckling adventure tone that I was looking for. And you do get a partial uncovering at the end to do with Palace. So, just so people are aware, the basic gist of this story is that centuries before, Earth sent out a group of colony ships, and the colony ships were led by a sentient AI named Athena, and then all the other, which was trailblazing ahead, and all the other colony ships were linked up with a less advanced AI, not fully sentient, so more of a virtual intelligence than an artificial intelligence. And for whatever reason, they lost contact with Athena, and the colonies were made, and as humans do, they went to war with each other, because you didn't have this overriding sort of communication hub pulling everyone together for communications and stuff. And there was also a deep distrust of AI as well, although they still use daemons and AI as well within this world. But it's very limited and requires a human output to actually change things. So the whole quest for this is to discover where Palace is. Palace is the ship of Athena. A fairy story, people believe it didn't really exist at this point. But there's revealed quite early on that something is going on. People perhaps know about this, and it isn't as lost as perhaps it was before. You have a mercenary captain, you have a clueless scholar who is truly clueless, you have an up-and-coming pilot who is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you have like the almost state-funded mercenary as well. Really, really, really good. I can't wait for book 2. I'm not sure how well it fitted in the prompts in the end, but really, really good read. So happy I picked it up finally. There will be a full review on the channel for it at some point as well. Alright, so the last book then. This is for Secrets by Bryson Andre. And this is a cover of a One Republic song. So, a cover reimagining, a retelling perhaps. So we have Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Navoa. Now I nearly picked this up when it first came out, which will be about 18 months ago I think now. It's part of the Remix Classic series. I've only read one so far, but I thought I'd come out for a walk, find somewhere on the local park and sit and just kind of be. So I'm about 5 minutes walk from my house right now. Let's share some of the walk with you before I settle down. So let's talk a little bit about my current read. This is Most Ardently, a Pride and Prejudice remix. I'm not very far in, and I've never read Pride and Prejudice. So far, pretty good. I'm getting, not a Rivals to Lovers vibe, but Grumpy X Sunshine maybe, kind of vibe from it. I don't know how accurate that is to Pride and Prejudice, but there we go. But I'm enjoying it so far, and to be honest, like, the view. You can hear the motorway behind me. It's just down there. But like, as a kid, I used to love coming up here, and if it'll let me zoom in a little bit, that in the distance is Winter Hill in Bolton, which is kind of the next town, city over. So yeah, so much green and sunshine. Like, normally this is really overgrown, so this is actually really nice to wander out in again. Alright, so I have finished Most Ardently. My recording of reading more of it corrupted for some reason, but hey ho, this is how we learn. As my children would say, we move. So I really, really enjoyed this. So it is fair to point out that I have not read Pride and Prejudice. I haven't seen any of the shows or the adaptations either, so I only have a vague idea of the basic story beats. But I actually think that this works really, really well. And there's a number of things that I think really do stand out here, especially the sort of relationship that Oliver has with his family, especially in terms of acceptance with sisters, and specifically when his dad finds out as well how easily he's accepted. And as we go through the story, just the level of acceptance in general. And it's worth noting that the author does make a mention to do with a couple of historical stretches potentially, although they were perfectly believable in how they played out in the story. But there's no evidence necessarily that these things played out. But also a couple of historical references to do with molly houses, as well as the laws in the UK pre-Victorian age and how that plays into effect, as well as when birth certificates first came in, little bits, some of which I didn't actually know. I like the way that the relationship between Oliver and Mr. Darcy develops. There's a fair few contemptible characters in here, I suspect, much like in the actual book itself. And I like the idea of Oliver refusing to back down and be someone that he isn't, just for that easy life, as you see friends around him kind of settling for something else because they don't think they can get better. And I really, really enjoyed that. Overall, I really, really, really did like this one. I think this is probably my favourite of the three reads that I've done for the challenge. I give this a 4.25 stars out of 5. I can't wait to read more from the Remix Classics collection as well. And with that, we're at the end of the vlog. First ever vlog as well. So there we go. Who knows how this has turned out by the time I edit it all together. But just to recap very quickly, we had 3 songs. The first one, 100 Years by Five for Fighting. And for this one, I picked the 100-year-old man that climbed out of the window and disappeared. Certainly not what I expected when I picked up the book. It was a lot of fun, slightly absurd in places, but I like books like that. That was an easy 4-star for me. The second book is The Trail We Blaze by Elton John, From the Road to El Dorado. And for that one, I went for a bit of a left field pick with that one. I went for Palace Lost by Jake Morrison, which is an indie sci-fi, which had similar themes of searching out a place of legend and the adventure and the people you meet along the way to get there. Again, really happy with that one. Another 4 stars. And finally, my favourite of the 3 books for Read the Beats was for the prompt of Secret by Bryson Andrews. And I riffed on the idea of, with Secrets being a cover and a reimagining of a song by One Republic, why not do something similar with the book? So I went for a reimagining of Pride and Prejudice by picking Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Navoa, part of the Remix Classics collection. And This was my favourite read of the three, came in at 4.25 stars overall. This was really, really good, and I highly recommend people check it out. But that's the end of the vlog. So once again, a massive, massive thank you to Jessica over at This Kiwi for reaching out and asking me to be a part of this amazing idea. I had an absolute blast. I also hope, Jess, that you had fun with your reads for the songs that I sent over to you. But with that, that's the end of the vlog. I will link Jess's down below once it goes up. And if you haven't checked out their channel already, you really, really should do. But that's it from me. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please consider dropping a like and a subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks so much. I'll catch you all very soon.